You are now tuned into Diving Within B, the podcast where we dive into everything. Me.
What is up, guys? Y'all already know the deal. We are back with another podcast episode. Today we got my cousin Anthony with me, also known as Gifted Cutto.
I'm so blessed and honored to be on this podcast. You know, to everybody that's tuning in, this is really, really a dope journey to just be a part of. Like I said, I'm just honored and humbled to be here. So we're gonna give y'all some good content.
You already know. And then don't forget too, bro, it's the video recording.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, man. We've been working hard this week, honestly. Like, we've been working on his project and his documentary for his project, I should say. We just been grinding, honestly, like, and I think the lesson in that itself is just like, not even a lesson, but it's more so like the inspiration, because like, you know, you see a lot of these artists out here doing things, but like, they might not necessarily be as committed. Like, you know, they not putting these hours in the street. They not putting these hours just out in the world, I should say. Like, working towards their craft or working on their craft. And this dude definitely is always sharpening his blade, sharpening his sword. So I think that's cool.
I appreciate that, bro. And you know, you're speaking real truth about just what it takes with your daily process. Ray Lewis, football player, if you guys don't know, one of the best ever to do it in his position. He always said proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I took that into heart because it's true. There's not a coincidence why people that are successful in life are successful. They do the things that 97% of the population are not doing. And that's why they are able to get the results they get.
Success leaves clues.
Yes, it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of commitment, a lot of focus, a lot of execution, and minimum excuses. So if you're able to live your life in a way that mirrors that, 9 times out of 10, I believe you will yield the results that you were looking to get.
That's deep. For real. And I feel like that's in anything. Like, you know, that's not just like this applies to this specific thing. Like, bro, with the music world, the photography world, like anything you're passionate about, you know, just stay consistent with it, man. For real.
Yeah, you gotta take it serious, because at the end of the day, your self-belief has to outweigh anything in the exterior world. You can't be worried about what mama gonna say about you, what dad gonna say, grandma, grandpa, cousins, none of that.
Right.
You gotta literally be so in tune with you and your inner self. And if you believe in a higher power, be in tune with your higher power, whatever that may be. It just has to be that sense of belief that, look, no matter what, I'm gonna do this. And I'm going to find a way to get myself into that field that I'm looking to get into.
That's deep. And I think it's crazy, too. Like, sometimes I think, like, bro, all the moments that you're not working on that skill or that craft and you just, like, playing around or being lazy, like,
yeah,
bro, there's millions of people out there that's in that same field or has that same interest that's constantly and steadily grinding at that. And here you are wasting time debating if you should get up and do it today or not. You know?
For real, because even if you look at, because I love sports, so I always do sports analogies. So it's like only 1% of millions of kids that have this dream of playing professional sports do it. And that stuff is true, 1%. Not yet, just 1% out of everybody that's doing it across, not even the United States, but the world. Only 1% get in. I look at my industry and it's kind of the same way. About 1% of artists get in, because there's millions of people that call themselves music artists. Yeah. Millions of people, and only the top 1% get in. And that don't mean that they the most talented people. It's just they found an avenue that worked for them. Exactly. So, you know, I ain't hating on nobody's journey. If you was able to do that, you know, that's kudos to you, because you did something that millions of people are inspiring to do. And it just should not be taken for granted that you made it in that industry. It's just like, I mean, even in your photography, bro, there's a lot of photographers. There's a lot of people that are just, you know, this, unfortunately, we live in a competition-driven society.
Yeah. And where everything's oversaturated.
Yeah, and I sometimes feel that's more so of a negative thing than a positive thing, simply because
It makes you hard to stand out.
and it's all about competition. I believe competition doesn't really bring unity. If anything, it brings division, because it's all about me versus you, and you.
Why
And
can't we just get together and combine those things together?
it's not about the whole. It's not about the let's see what we can do for everyone. It's about, I got to get mine, and I'm not gonna tell you nothing, because then you'll come from my spot and take food off my table.
Exactly. When it don't have to be like that.
You know, it's enough out here for everybody to eat, man.
And that's funny, because, you know, like how we were talking in the car, I think it was yesterday or the day before, how you were talking about like the world peace and stuff like that. And, you know, you were saying like you're more of an optimist. And I was saying like, I feel like I'm an optimist too, but I was like, no, like, but you still gotta have a realistic, like,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
ties into that, because it's like, you gotta, I don't know, the only way I guess humanity will change as a whole, and history won't repeat itself, is if we take different actions
Yep.
and don't fall into those same like generational patterns, you know. So yeah.
And I feel like
Positive.
people always say that history repeats itself. And even in one of my songs, I believe I said it on Message from the World, and when I was talking in the intro, but my mindset is starting to shift is to maybe certain parts of history are shown to us so we don't repeat them. Yeah, so it's like, it's a reason that this stuff happened and people left all this stuff behind, because maybe there's certain aspects that we're not supposed to repeat, and we're supposed to learn from this stuff so we
Here we
don't
are
end up
following.
destroying or getting into that situation that they did. You know, it's like we're left clues all the time, man. You know, it's all type of universal signs and energy that are just telling us, like, you could just wake up one day and you just feel something. You know what, I feel like I want to make a change. I feel like I want to do this now instead of go down this path. It's a reason that you get these messages and signals, and everybody gets them. But the biggest thing is, not everybody may be consciously aware that they're
Exactly.
getting these signals. Somebody could be getting a signal and they over here thinking like, oh man, I got a stomach ache or something. Like, it could be something going on internally, but you don't, you're just not consciously aware.
Because you're not on that. Like, you're not in
Exactly.
tune with
And
that.
and that stuff is so crazy, because I believe there are so many people that really have divine spiritual gifts,
They're
but
missing them. They're
just
not seeing them.
just don't know that they have them.
That's sad. That's crazy, bro. And then I feel like the other thing with that too, you know, people could think it's their own self voice, like just their conscious. Some people could think that's God talking to them. Like, I feel like it'll be different interpretations of that, but everybody does have that like small voice in their head that, you know, talks,
Of course.
says stuff. It's crazy.
I believe we have our higher self, we have our flesh self, and then we have the ego, which is kind of in between both worlds.
Okay.
So I don't like, when people hear ego, they always have a negative connotation associated with it, usually.
I don't know why, because it's real.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a part of
And the ego does not have to be a bad thing or a negative thing, but it can be if you choose to operate in flesh more, because
Gotcha.
the ego ultimately is trying to preserve your identity and your personality that you have made up about yourself. So that's
Interesting.
why if somebody says something to you that you don't like, you feel ramped up and ready to defend yourself. That's the ego trying to defend that personality and identity that you have made for yourself. So that's why you feel so riled up. So if you are able to consciously be aware, like, okay, I see this as my ego trying to, you know, take me in this direction I don't need to be in.
Balance it
Yeah,
back out.
it's all about consciousness. And then the more like you're able to consciously be aware that the ego sees that, okay, this is no longer how you want to identify with yourself as a person. So we'll work to now construct how you now want to identify yourself.
That's deep. Wow. You got me thinking about stuff. That's crazy. Man, so the ego, that's what, yeah, honestly, ego make up everybody.
Yeah.
Because like you said, a lot of arguments and like beefs and stuff like that, that's all it is. It's just your ego
Yep.
being inflamed or enraged
Yes,
because
man.
you're sensitive about something.
Yes.
It's like,
It's all about flesh, bro. It's all about what people identify themselves with. And most people on this planet identify with something, and some people got those hot buttons. And when you push those hot buttons, the ego is ready to be in fight mode. Sometimes you're in flight mode where you feel fear, where you feel anxiety, you feel like I need to leave this situation. So there's all different type of ways that our body communicates with us.
See, and I feel like, and people, that's how people make themselves sick and stuff. Because, you know, like our body does naturally have like the fight or flight response.
Yep.
We're in danger. Like if it's like a lion in front of us,
Mm-hmm.
we feel that, and that activates to let us know like we're in panic mode. Like you need to, you know, it gives you that like adrenaline boost to try to make it out that situation. So when people are just activating that kind of like unconsciously, or just because somebody said something triggering to their ego, I feel like you can make yourself like sick over that, honestly, like mentally, physically.
Oh, no doubt. I read this book by Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's I definitely recommend you guys check him out if you get the chance. And what he talked about in the book was, he was saying how a lion can go after a gazelle, and a gazelle gets away. It turns its fight or flight response on. Mm-hmm. After 10 minutes, the gazelle will go back to normal and go back to grazing as if nothing ever happened.
So it just knows.
Yes, that it's good. Now, human beings, something like that happens, we're going to carry that stuff for years. Exactly. As if it's still happening in this now moment. And that is called living in the pain body. A lot of human beings are operating like that in this very now moment, as if a traumatizing experience that happened years ago, even yesterday, they're still carrying and experiencing that experience after it happens now. That's why road rage is so dangerous, because somebody could be having a messed up day. You get in a road rage incident. You're not really why they're angry, but you're the trigger of the pain body in that moment, and they just lose themselves. Yeah, exactly. It's just all unconscious living of traumas that we have not healed from and released.
Wow, that's deep. So people just be going around like an inflated balloon, basically waiting for that person to just pop it.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, because it's that, and it's also living like a zombie, where it's like you literally every day it's the same routine. I work 8 to 12 hours. I come home, I eat, I sleep, and I do the same thing 5-6 days out the week. And I'm not putting any substance into me. I don't have time to feed myself with life energy. And that's why, like, I'm never going to knock. You have to work for a living. That's something that we have to do. We can't escape that.
Exactly.
But it's like, a lot of our time are really being robbed because we have to pay these things called bills. So it really doesn't surprise me that a lot of people are frustrated or angry or feel depressed sometimes in life, because they may not know the outlets of how to really deal with what's going on with them, because there ain't really no time to do that, because you have to keep focusing on life, especially if you got a family. Like, you don't have time really to
sit down with yourself.
On top of work and all that, on top of, like, you know, bills, dealing with the kids and all that, you don't have the time to really deal with you. So a lot of people just keep that stuff just flustered in them, man. Like, bro, it's like, imagine walking around with 20-pound dumbbells just at your side all day.
Yeah, no.
That's the weight that's the weight you're holding on to. So when people don't have positive ways to release that, the way to release it is retaliation on loved ones, retaliation on friends, retaliation on strangers. But it's going to be some type of lash out, because that energy can only stay in her so long before it has to get out one way or another.
That's deep. Man, you heard it from him. This dude knows so much, bro. Like, he just look at life in so many different perspectives that it's like, dang, it makes so much sense. Why didn't I even think about that, you know? Like, and that's, man, like that pain body, that's real interesting. Because I feel like another thing too, back to the, like, not having time, like, our generation is the worst for that, because we have so many distractions now. Like, so many distractions. Like, the social media, the video games, like, the trashy TV, reality shows, all that stuff. Like, and I get that it's entertainment, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people probably don't know, but that's a coping mechanism. And basically, that's pushing everything that's bundled
it's an escape
down. It's repressing that. 'Cause you're just feeding like, oh, I'm gonna just fill myself with these trash reality shows so I can escape my reality
Yes.
that I live day to day. Like,
because people don't want to deal with their own stuff
Yep.
because they're just not used to doing it.
it's hard sometimes.
It is.
too,
No,
you know?
you're absolutely right, bro. It is hard. And I feel what the pandemic did, it forced people to actually have to look in the mirror and be like, oh, crap. Now that I don't have work or I'm not as busy as I was, I have to actually deal with me.
Yep.
And for a lot of people, that probably was scary
Yeah.
because they hadn't did that in a long time. Me personally, the quarantine was already was good for me because I was already going through a healing process. I had started the healing process a couple months before the quarantine really like took place. So I already like was in the middle of healing through traumas and stuff that I needed to let go of, and the quarantine just helped me blossom through that quicker, and I learned to love myself more, spend more time with myself, and it really was a beneficial time for me in life in general. So I'm forever grateful for it.
And that's what's up, bro. Cause like you said, that was one instance in the world where I felt like it was something that went on that basically affected all of humanity. Like, unless you live on some remote island where you're by yourself or something, like, everybody knows about COVID, you know, and for the good or the bad. You know, you still got some countries right now where, you know, people are dying every day from this, and the numbers are still multiplying because they don't have, you know, vaccines and things like that. So it's sad, man. But, you know, I feel like the quarantine definitely was a standstill for the entire world to somehow try to take advantage of.
And universally, I believe we could feel each other's energy as a collective during that time. There was there may have been more light sent out to the world in that time than in a long period of time on the history of this planet, because a lot of people were dealing with this. So a lot of prayers were being sent out at the same time. So the energy and vibration of people, I believe, shifted.
It's like the spirit bomb.
Yes, yeah. And especially like as we come out of this thing, there may be a sense more of, you know what? I am going to go hang out with that friend more often, because there was a time where I took this for granted and I couldn't do it. I maybe will go to that sports game that I really wanted to go to but just didn't go to because there was a time where this was taken away from me. I will take that vacation because I don't know if this opportunity will be taken away from me again. So I believe there's more of a sense of urgency and more of appreciation of the freedoms and stuff we actually had after experiencing a year of not being able to do nothing.
Because, man, we was just showed how quick everything could be like pulled away from us. In
a fraction, this thing can flip. And it's just like, you either going to be ready for it or you're going to have to get ready for it. But either wise, you're going to be in it.
And this is, honestly, this is probably just a taste of what we'll see in our lifetime. Like,
bro,
we keep progressing so fast as just like a species. I feel like in our lifetime, we're going to see a lot of other, I'm not going to say that, like, you know, a pandemic on that level, but it may be
you're
worse.
right. I believe we will see a lot of stuff in our lifetime. I believe there will be an alien sighting that can't be covered up. That it just will be a mass alien sighting that the government won't be able to cover up. I believe that's coming. I would also not be surprised if something like COVID does happen again, but maybe not as COVID did. But I would not be surprised if the world went into another quarantine. It's just, at this point, nothing will shock me, man, because there's so many things we just don't know.
Exactly.
There's
so many unknowns.
Yeah, there's so many variables and unknown variables that you just have no idea. So the best thing,
we don't even know all the stuff that's on the planet.
Exactly. There's so many species that aren't even discovered. Like there's certain parts of the ocean that we can't even get to.
I was literally just watching a TikTok about that.
So it's like
some squid down there.
There's so many like just different things that we just don't know. And back to what you were saying about the technology in our generation, you know, I think it's a gift and a curse, because it's funny, you know, we take a lot of these quotes from, like, you know, Jesus Christ, Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, you know, whatever, like, philosopher, you know, Buddha, you know, whatever person that resonates with you. And if you think about it, though, I believe those individuals and those time periods were operating in a time where they were more in tune with them because there wasn't as many distractions.
That's deep.
So they were able to really be in tune. It's not like the Buddha could just get on Twitter.
Exactly.
So it's not like it's not like he could just do something like that. It's not like like Jesus like just couldn't like turn a TV show on and so it's like those individuals were able to be more in tune with them, and the energy of the world was probably different at that time too, because it also not only of like the technology that they didn't have, but I believe people just looked at life differently because the world was different.
It was more so about survival back then.
Yeah, and it was about like, we have to create. I mean, we still have to create now, but it was more so of
like they had to.
How do we create to keep civilization alive?
Upgrading over time. Cause you're right, bro. Like we don't really have to build anything nowadays. Like
not at all because
these houses people move into are like so old, 60, 70 years old.
And it's like you can build this stuff so much more quickly now. If you just look at even the way cars are from like the 1930s to now, there's like huge like advancements that like this stuff is just like wow, in like 70, 80 years we came this far.
Like bro, you got cars that don't even have engines anymore. Like
and this is just the beginning, man. So I'm excited for, what's ahead in the future because I do believe that this world, even with all that's going on, is heading in more of a positive direction. I believe a lot of dark energies are being purged and this needs to happen. So there's a reason we're all alive in this time period to witness this. And it's going to be up to us to usher in a new era that is of peace and love. Because whatever the human collective focuses on,
that's where
they get it done.
Will head, That's deep. Well, I feel like we'll wrap it up on that. This dude literally walking, living, breathing knowledge here.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, bro. But I got to keep growing and learning like everybody else, man. It's an everyday process that we all got to keep doing.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next vid.
Yes, sir.
See y'all later.
Be blessed.
Peace out.